But in addition to alcohol inks, we also released metallic mixatives. And a metallic mixative is a pigment with a solvent. And that's really what our alcohol ink world has been. It's been alcohol ink, mixative, and then of course blending solution, right? Now blending solution, the only thing new to that is that now they have a mini version that fits into your tin, so for those that are traveling, I don't know why everyone was so excited about this, but they certainly were excited about a baby bottle of blending solution. That's like one portion size for me. Like that's like a card. Because I love blending solution. I use it more than anything. So for years, this is what we've been doing. And when you mix these two, when you use alcohol ink with mixative, these two kind of fight with each other. If you use the solvent and you use this pigment, they kind of actually separate. And that's what creates those backgrounds, that polished stone, agates, those things that you see in those videos. That's really what this has been. But now we have a whole new kind of ink, and I think that was inspired by oxide, right? When we figured out the formulation for oxide about 2 years ago, that dye and pigment, I think that got our chemists going, I wonder if that would work in the alcohol ink environment. Yeah. And that's what it came up with. These alcohol pearls are pearlescent alcohol inks, which means that pearl, that colorant, even something soft like enchanted, that colorant is fused to the ink. So our ink, and you can just see if the light just hits it, it has a very subtle pearlescent shimmer. Every single color just has that shimmer of pearl. And the nice thing about it is that pearl is not a mixative. That pearl will not separate from its colorant. It is part of that ink. So when you use it, you're going to get that beautiful luster over the whole surface, and there is no texture to this. You can do feel-o-vision. It's completely smooth, right? So you would expect that to have some texture. You would expect like a mixative to have that pigment that sits over the top. But these pearls do not, because it's all part of that same ink. So this can be, you have to. It's wild, it's very, very cool. So one of the first questions I was asked when we did this, now we have 12 colors of pearls. And when I released these 12 colors, I wanted something totally different. I wanted to evoke a different feel for the maker. So instead of sticking into the true traditional palette, I picked some colors and we kind of tweaked them, and then I wanted to give them names. So we have names like alchemy and smolder and deception and envy and enchantment and, I don't know, mineral, celestial. They're just cool, sublime. I wanted just kind of give this feeling of cool color on a background. And these pearls, they are very different than a mixative, right? Because we do have a pearl mixative. Now a pearl mixative is just going to be a pearl additive. And if you think, wait, I can just take my ink, add that pearl mixative and make my own. Well, not really, because a mixative, as I mentioned, is a pigment. And if you try to use alcohol ink and a pearl mixative, which is what this is my background, which in fact is pearly, but when the light hits it, it's white. Because that white pearl from that mixative is always going to float to the top and cover my background. This is a very similar color. This is Intrigue. This is the same color in alcohol pearls. Yeah. So you can see that color, no, because each one of these, if you look at the bottom of the bottles, that's why I showed you here, each color has its own color of pearl. Yeah. That pearl becomes part of the ink versus just a pearl that sits on top. So understanding that it's totally different right from go is important as we go through the demo, because right away you're like, oh, well, I'll just use a mixative to do all the stuff he's doing. It's just not going to be the same effect. Now, if you add these pearls onto a background and use all the colors together, you get a beautiful, shimmery background, okay? But same thing, still totally smooth. So you would think by adding all of these layers, we would start getting this buildup of a pigment, but it's not, it's smooth. I know, Jim, she was like, I need to feel that. You're saying it's smooth, but it is not smooth. It's smooth, it is. It has a cool kind of finish to it. And how they can go on a lot of different substrates. So let's talk about that.